I have a video breaking down Naruto's middle era. This time, I'll be looking at the early era, which lasts from the beginning to the end of the Konoha Crush arc. As usual, I'll start with the facial thirds. The middle third is the longest in this style. The bottom third is slightly shorter. The top third is hard to measure because most of the characters are wearing headbands, but it seems to be either the same length as the middle third or a little shorter. The relationship between thirds remains for older characters, but their proportions are stretched out, creating a longer face. This can be seen in Iruka, Kakashi, and Hiruzen. The eyes are drawn less realistically compared to other eras. The first noticeable difference is the size of the eyes. They take up a lot less space on the face. Then there's the actual shape. This era had a wider range of eye styles. Compare Sasuke to Kakashi, to Neji. The middle era makes the eyes a lot more uniform. I'll start with the most common eye, which is what Naruto and Sakura have. The future styles have a realistic rhombus shape. Here, the two strokes that are used to draw the outline have more space between them, making the shape of the outline taller. The top line for the eye is still thicker than the bottom. Some female characters will have extra eyelashes, or even a thicker top line. For the eyeballs, they have an oval shape compared to the circle in the future. Sometimes they're a circle. There is still no highlight in the eyes, only a pupil. The unique eyelids for Team 7 still remain. That was the main way, but there are characters with their own style. Sasuke has the slim rhombus shape, similar to the later style, meaning that it is wider than it is tall. His eyeballs are almost only circular. Kakashi's eye outline is basically a half circle. The top line of his eye is a straight line, and the bottom one is a C curve, and then the eyelid is another C curve. His eyeballs are also circles. Shikamaru, Lee, Neji, Kankuro, and more have their eyes drawn in ways that are unique to them. This individuality mostly turns into uniformity in the middle era. The characters' eyes are much further apart than in the future. In the middle era, it ranged from 1 to 1.5. In this early era, it seems to be at minimum 1.5. But similar to One Piece, in this style, the top line of the eye is wider than the bottom line. As you can see, when I play with how I line the eyes up, the measurement could max out at 2 eyes apart, as seen with Sakura. I believe this is a more accurate representation of the eye gap. On top of the eye gap, the gap between the eye and the side of the face is wider, creating a wider head overall, which is in style for 90s manga and anime art. The width isn't always noticeable because it varies, but in general, the middle era never made faces that wide. A small detail is that sometimes when the characters frown, the eyebrow would overlap the eye a little, like Dragon Ball. I don't think the future style does that. Like One Piece's middle era, the nose is almost always pointing left or right, with a nostril on the opposite side, even when the character is facing forward. Sometimes, the nose line is made thicker or given a black shadow, kinda like One Piece's early style. There's nothing special about the mouths. The jaws are very 90s. Overall, they look like a wide triangle pointing down, but Kishimoto uses flat chins. There doesn't seem to be a difference between male and female proportions, except that Kurenai, an adult female, has the proportions of a child. The ears also look a little bigger. The hair has a lot more detail. While they are still mostly outlines with very few details inside, the detail in the outline is higher. The hair is technically still triangles, but these triangles curve and come in different sizes. Sometimes they even overlap. It makes the hair look more realistic. In the middle era, characters were 6 heads tall, which is short. The average male is 8 heads tall. In this early era, characters are even shorter. Naruto, who's short, is 5.5 heads tall. Kankuro, whose average height, is 6 heads tall. Naruto isn't shorter because of the time skip, because in the Sasuke recovery arc, where he's still the same height on paper, he's 6 heads tall. The anatomy isn't as strong as in the future. There isn't anything notably strange, apart from how short the characters are, but the sheer realism isn't as powerful as the future style. Interestingly enough, the folds are once again a unique point in the style. Instead of being thick and round, these folds are thin and sharp, razor sharp. Look at the picture of Team 7 standing together. The cloth folds actually depend on the thickness of the material this time, but the actual placement of the folds doesn't feel as realistic as in the future. There can be excessive amounts of folds at times. The line weight has more variance. In general, the lines are thicker, but there is also some pen pressure. It isn't a large amount, but it's there, compared to the future style. For solid blacks, Kishimoto sometimes does the white lines to divide blacks, for example, Ino, Kiba, and Shino. But for Sasuke, the blacks of his eyeballs, eyebrows, hair, and headband all blend together. Only Hinata has the highlights in her hair. Most of the other black hairs are just flat black. And now, hatching. Kishimoto loved to spam hatching back here. Bottom of the nose, under the neck, inside the collar, on every single cloth fold, it was there. His shading had more variants. Sometimes it would be parallel lines, sometimes it would be curved lines. Sometimes the hatching would ignore the 3D surface. Sometimes it would follow the surface. Sometimes they were thin, sometimes they were thick and had pen pressure. Kishimoto also wasn't afraid to make his shading a little messy. His hatching was working overtime and on weekends with no paid time off. Screen tones were used in the exact same way as in the future, meaning barely. I could dedicate a video to how his action scenes changed over time, because there is a noticeable difference. An easy target is his motion blur. Back here, when a character threw a punch, the fist would be covered head to toe in motion lines. Sometimes, the lines would even extend back to show the trail of the punch. Sometimes even the body would be covered in lines if the character was leaning into it. This made the art feel messy but energetic. In the middle era, the lines were restricted to black items. If a character was wearing black and moving fast, then the black would turn into kinetic motion lines, but on the outside, there weren't any, making the art look more clean but less kinetic. That's the end of the preview. The art in Naruto's early era was more abstract, as seen in the heads, the folds, and the anatomy, but it had more detail and variety, probably due to the fact that the weekly grind hadn't begun to take its toll.